That didn't sound good. That sounded like a barn breaking.
For those of you who haven't heard of Ollie Williams, he hit the headlines when he appeared in the show Love Island. Now he's fallen in love with farming his family estate in Cornwall.
And now it's just a game of operation with a swing shovel. Wouldn't be able to do that with that. That is skills. We need to be promoting and championing the thousands of men and women all over the country that spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, working to put food on your plate. You had an old, I think they've taken it down now, but it was an old set of hanging gates, and the hanging gates would come along these rails and it would push the cows, slowly but surely push them, and they'd come through here.
They've been farming here for generations, but it's not been all milk and honey.
At this point we're now a cow.
This is what remains of their state-of-the-art dairy from the early ooze.
And here's the rotary unit. So we'd have foreman working up there and have 2 guys on the floor. I remember, I was only very young at the time, but I remember it, in full swing and early mornings and even filling up the milk bottles. We've got 3 skeletons of their dairies on this day. This is obviously the biggest one, but then the other 2 are small-time tenants who'd been tenants of the estate for probably hundreds of years. They're probably sort of 7th or 8th generation farmers, and because of it, and they've had to go and say, we can't do that anymore.
The farm is now all about beef and a sideshow of pigs. We'll meet Donald the boar next time. The 90 Herefords are managed by Matt with Ollie's help, which is welcome, but sometimes destructive. How did he do it?
I'm not entirely sure, moving old bales I think. But he also at the same time, so that was the first one, but literally within 10 minutes or so, he then rode up against a bale with a handler and smashed the door. So, yeah, all the glass had gone and smashed, but we've all done it. I'm not criticising. We all have our moments.
This morning they're breathing life into the hedging surrounding their grazing and clearing up after Storm Aisha left her mark.
Jeremy Clarkson would say it's another farming device which could kill you in the most foul way. Yeah, these hedgerows, as many tourists often find out in the summers, are not just hedge, it is solid stone walls, many of which are hundreds of years old, especially stuff on the moor. You see those, they're probably thousands of years old realistically. They're important wildlife corridors, they're important boundary markers for the landowners, for the farmers, but also their heritage. Yeah. So
you're talking to me here with a cowboy hat on and a check shirt, right?
Yeah.
So you take this, even though you don't look like you take it seriously. You take it seriously.
Of course I do. No, I've recently actually started watching Yellowstone, so I now think I'm Rip Wheeler, basically. No, I'm kidding, of course. No, but I've got a variety of hats which you'll see throughout the. It's about to blow off as well, isn't it? As I say that. Okay, God, I get the picture. I'm not a cowboy.
Re-establishing the fences and hedge lines is a job that needs doing, as Ollie and Matt have had to take their cows off the land they've traditionally used because of dogs. Actually, you can't blame the dogs. It's the dog owners.
A lot of our grazing is open access, and that is unfortunately where the issues with the neospora occur, is because the dogs poo and people necessarily don't always clean up after their dogs, and then if they do, they just leave it in a bag on the floor, which is the most annoying thing pretty much in the world. I don't understand that logic. What neospora does is it affects the cow's ability to have calves, and if they do have calves, they're usually stillborn. People, I don't think, are aware of the impact that just leaving a dog poo on the ground in an area grazing cattle actually could have on that cow's and the farmer's life. So, yeah.
Poo
Awareness Week. I think that should be Farming Britain's first actual campaign. Poo Awareness Day.
Oh, it's got legs.
It's got legs. Dog Poo Awareness Day. That's not because and we can include the ability to say, actually don't bag it up and hang it in a tree like a bed.
Why don't we put in the summer? Why don't we put a fluorescent luminous jacket on you, and we can do a day poo patrol?
Because you've never seen someone to be told to F off more in one day than me if we did that. Who are you then? What is your time?
Yeah.
So obviously, mate, I'm just wearing a high vis. I thought.
You get away with murder wearing high vis.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true. You know,
we print it on the back saying Ollie's poo patrol.
I'm already locally hated enough, David, before adding poo patrol to my repertoire.
Neosporosis is now thought to be responsible for the highest percentage of all cattle abortions reported in the UK, and there are no drugs to treat it.
The first year we discovered it, I think we culled between 35 and 40 cows. So we let them calve, we got the calf off them, and then obviously he had made a note of them, so we knew which ones were in, and didn't put them back to the bull the following year. Yeah, a big impact on the herd and the overall progress, really. I mean, we were calving 100 cows a few years back, but obviously this has sort of put an end to all of that, and we've had to change our tack a bit. So that didn't sound good. That sounded like a barn breaking.
Okay, we go and check.
Yes, absolutely. So this board has moved ever so slightly, but yeah, it'll all be good. We'll have to fix that when the cows are out.
It's a deep litter system, and he's allowed to use the straw spreader for the first time. Pretty fun. The first time Matt and Ollie make a good team and clearly love their roles. We'll return when they've had their calves and their piglets.